Hi everybody, I'm so excited because today is the premiere, the very first episode of the long-awaited show, Picard. Yes, JeanLuc Picard is back, and boy, is he ever back, guys. Wow, I'm so excited about this show. I couldn't wait until today. It premiered today on CBS All Access, and today we're not only going to review it, we're going to do a complete breakdown of the show, talk a little bit about a few other things as well. Let's get some announcements done, and then we'll get right on to talking about this great show. A quick couple announcements, guys. If you haven't heard already, we at allforsci-fi.com this year, we're pulling out all the stops for everybody. Everybody, we're going global. We're going to be at so many events, your head's going to spin. We got next month, we're in Pensacon in Florida. Then we're going to be in WonderCon. We're going to be in Germany in May. Then we're going to be in San Diego Comic-Con, Celebration, Star Wars Celebration here in Anaheim. And then again, LA Comic-Con and Designer Con. We're going to be at all those events. So guys, that's one big reason to subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell so that you're notified every time we go live. And here is the most important reason why we want you to subscribe, because every week we are having the all-new trivia game contest. Every Saturday, we're going to be live, streaming live at Disneyland or Galaxy's Edge or California Adventure. And as we're doing our live stream, we're going to be talking about trivia. It could be something like, did you know that on the railroad, the railroad, that the last car was named after Walt Disney's wife? It's called the Lillian car. Did you know that? Did you know that all the plants in Tomorrowland are edible? You could eat them. So as we're doing this live stream, and we're going to be live every Saturday for 2 hours, we're going to be talking about trivia. And then at the end of the live stream, after we've had a great time, we're also going to take you on a lot of the rides as well, like the new Star Wars Rise of the Resistance and other rides that come about. As we're doing that, we're going to be given all this trivia, and then at the end of the live stream, we're going to ask one question. And if you watch the live stream, then you'll know the answer. And then the first 5 people that give the correct answer will write your name down on a piece of paper, we'll throw it in the hat, and we'll pull your name out of a hat, and you'll win a gift, a free gift. You don't have to, the only participation is to watch the stream, listen for the clues, and then enter your answer at the end of the live stream, and then you could get a free gift. We've already given away 2 gifts already. We gave away Sabacc cards the first week. Last week, we gave away Hans Dice. And this week, we're actually giving away something from the Droid Depot. We're giving away this. We're giving away this to some lucky person. Whoever answers the question correctly and your name is drawn out of the hat, you may get this from the Droid Depot. And we're excited about it. So that's another reason why you guys need to subscribe and hit the notification bell, watch our streams. That and the fact that we're pulling out all the stops. We're going global. We're going all over the world this year for you guys at allforsci-fi.com. But let's go ahead and talk about what this video is about. Let's get right into it. And remember, please give this video a thumbs up and like it as well. We appreciate that. All the likes, we love you guys. Let's go ahead and talk about Picard. Wow. JeanLuc Picard. A lot of you know that my affiliation with Star Wars. You know that I was the original Mace in the Ewok movies. I looked like Luke Skywalker when I was a kid. But what a lot of you don't know is that I'm a big, big Star Trek fan. Am I a Trekkie? I know my cousin's a Trekkie, but I'm a pretty big Star Trek fan. And I'm also just a big sci-fi fan in general. I mean, that's obvious. That's why I came up with the name All for Sci-Fi, right? So basically Picard, before we do that, let me stop real quick here. Before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and give a rating. At All for Sci-Fi, we give a rating. We have a scale of 0 to 5 stars, 5 being the best, and not everybody gets 5 stars. In fact, we've only given 5 stars out maybe less than 5 times, maybe 5 times at the most. We don't give them out. And if you get 3 or below, then we don't recommend it. We don't recommend, if it's a movie, we don't recommend you going to it. If it's something streaming, we don't recommend that you stream it if it gets 3 stars or below. So 0 to 5 stars, we're going to give JeanLuc Picard 4.5 stars. That's it. JeanLuc Picard, you get 4.5 stars for your premiere episode. It was a pretty solid episode. It had some really, really neat things in there that I caught and that other Trekkies will catch. You know, I caught the trill. Even when they were doing the interview sequence, some of the behind-the-scenes camera people, one of them was a trill. I caught that. I caught a lot of little Easter eggs there. And but yeah, it's a solid, good premiere episode. It definitely deserves 4.5 stars. Way to go. And now, if you see the sign here that says spoilers, if you haven't seen the episode, go ahead and pause this and come back and watch our recap later. But let's go ahead and recap the entire episode. So be prepared, okay, guys? Spoilers ahead. So basically, the show takes place it starts about 20 years following the big Martian colonies. They were attacked by synthetics. If you don't know what synthetics are, they're like Data. They're basically non-human. They're artificial life forms. So the colonies are attacked by synthetics, and they destroy the shipyards. They kill 93,000 people, and all this happens right smack in the middle of a mission that Picard was on to save the lives of 900 million Romulans, because it happens at the same time that the sun goes supernova and destroys Romulus and their whole system. And Picard basically stops being captain of the Enterprise so that he could take on this mission to rescue and relocate 900 million Romulans. And some people were a little upset about that because, you know, let's face it, Romulans were the Federation's biggest enemy forever. But to Picard, they're human. Well, they're not human, but they're lives. He considers anything living a life form, and they're alive. So basically what happens is at the beginning of the episode, we see these beautiful different, we hear this old time music playing, and you see these beautiful different what do they call them? Anyway, they're in space, and you see these beautiful gases around, and they're just gorgeous. And then you see the Enterprise, and the camera goes up and through the window of the Enterprise, and you see Picard with Data. They're playing a card game, and as they're playing the card game, you could see that Picard, is trying to stall. And at one point, Data says, "Why are you stalling, Captain?" And Patrick Stewart has a wonderful moment. He looks at Data and he says, "Because I don't want it to end." Oh, wow. Patrick Stewart's acting is stellar. It's amazing. That particular moment got to me right here in my heart. And after he says that, of course, he looks out the window and he sees that they're at Mars. And he goes, "Well, I didn't know we went to Mars." And then you start seeing explosions in the background, and then they explode, and he wakes up. And he was a dream. He was having a dream. And he gets up, and you see that he's at the Chateau Picard. He's in France at the family's vineyards. And beautiful, and kind of looks like Santa Barbara, by the way. You could kind of tell they're not in France because some of the fog, they don't have fog like that in France, by the way, in their area. Of course, I'm sure all the people there in France know that, but it kind of looks, they said it was, they're there in France, but it looks like Santa Barbara. But that's okay. That's okay. We're okay with that. So he wakes up, he goes downstairs, and you find that he has 2 caretakers, and they're having a discussion, and I could tell that they're Romulan. A friend of mine who was watching the episode with me thought they were Vulcan, and it's true they look very similar, but Romulans do look different, and they are the cousin to Vulcans, so they do look similar. But my friend thought they were Vulcans. No, they're Romulans that are taking care of him, and they're talking about a TV interview he's getting ready to have, and he says he doesn't know why he agreed to it, and he's going over that with his caretakers. Did you tell them? Don't discuss me resigning. Apparently he resigned from Starfleet. So, and at the time he resigned, he was an admiral, so he wasn't captain any longer. So he told them, as long as I'll do the interview, as long as she doesn't talk about me resigning from Starfleet. And of course, you don't tell the reporter, not to ask a question because they're going to ask it. So that ends up being the case, and he ends up ending the interview abruptly because she's talking about that and giving her 2 cents worth about how, why did you want to help out Romulans? And that's when Picard has some really great moments too. He's talking about history, and he's talking about Dunkirk, and as helping Romulans would be like saving people on Dunkirk. It wouldn't be like what you're talking about. And he's right. The lady's just stupid. So he enters the interview abruptly, and then we go to the Boston area. And we're in the greater Boston area, and you see these. By the way, Boston, you are looking really good in the future. You look really great. I love the different images there from showing Boston in the future. It looks beautiful. And we meet Daj, and Daj is a new character. It's a character played by actress Isa Barones, who does a wonderful job as this character. We later find out that she has a twin. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Also, in this new Picard series, we have, in the beginning, we talked about Data. So Brent Spiner is back. I said it's Spinners, but Brent Spiner is back. He's great as Data. Later in the episode, we have Allison Pill, who is like a doctor in synthetics, and she's at the Daystrom Institute, and Picard goes there later. So basically, we're back here. We're in the greater Boston area, and Daj is enjoying an evening with her boyfriend, and they're talking about how both of them got accepted into the schools, the colleges that they want to go to, and she got accepted into the Daystrom Institute in Okinawa. So they're excited about that, and as they're enjoying their evening, suddenly you see these flashes, and these hooded men appear. One of them throws a knife right into the heart of her boyfriend, killing him instantly. They grab her, they pin her down, they put this device over her head, and they're looking, and one of them is saying, and they're speaking Romulan, because then one of them says speak English, and I can tell they're talking Romulan. And one of them says, did she activate yet? Did she activate? And no, she hasn't activated herself yet. And so they put a hood over her face to try to knock her out, over her head and her face, and it ends up activating her. So she activates, and she becomes this really, really incredible assassin. She's like kicking their butt, and she kills all of them really quickly. And then after she kills them, she goes back over and has a wonderful, very emotional moment with her boyfriend, who she seemed to love a lot. So again, Isa Barones, A+ acting on this. And then later we go back to her walking in the streets, and she's crying, and she's crying, she's walking, she's getting wet, it's raining, and she looks up and she sees Jean-Luc Picard giving that interview that we just talked about. And right before she left her apartment where her boyfriend got killed and she killed these assassins, Jean-Luc Picard's face an image came in her mind. So she saw Jean-Luc Picard's face. So she recognizes his face. So now she knows, she didn't know who it was that flashed in front of her, but now she sees Jean-Luc Picard on the interview, so she knows who he is. So she decides to go ahead and travel to France. So the show picks up with her she's traveled to France, and she walks up and she introduces herself to Jean-Luc Picard. And she says her name is Daj, and she's very emotional. She's very upset. She doesn't know what's going on. She just knows that his face flashed before her, and she trusts him. Everything in her soul says that she needed to get to him, that she'll be safe with him. So that's why she rushed there so quickly. Acting again, top notch. Everybody, even Picard, of course, Patrick Stewart, come on. But even his caretakers, even the lady doing the interview who pissed him off, great. Everybody's great in this. So she's there. She's explaining to him. She doesn't know how all this happened. She don't know how she got these abilities suddenly to kill these people. And she's very confused. And she just knows that she needs to go to him. And after she tells him that story, of course, it's JeanLuc Picard. I can't say this enough. I love that name, right? I'm going to say it 100 times in this review. He calls the caretakers and says, you need to get some rest. You look like you're tired. We'll continue this in the morning. So they go to sleep, and then you see him suddenly you see him in his field, and he's watching Data do a painting. And he walks up to Data, and Data is doing this very elaborate painting. And he asks Data, what is that? And Data says, you know what it is, finish it. He hands him the brush, and then he wakes up. It's the morning. He goes downstairs, and he finds out that she's left. She's not there. The lady caretaker says she woke up very early in the morning, and she was already gone. So he's very worried about her. So Picard decides he needs to figure out what's going on. So he travels to Starfleet Academy in San Francisco. So he travels there to look at the archives. And he has a great scene with this android. I don't know if it's an android, but it's a hologram, I guess. And she's trying to tell him jokes, and it's kind of funny, actually. And but he says, keep her day job. Don't tell jokes. And as he's going through his archives, he sees the painting. And guess who's in the painting? In his dream, he didn't see the face, but in the archives, he sees her face. So he sees Daj's face right there in front of him. And he asked the index. The woman says, just say index I guess she's some sort of hologram. So he gets the index back, and he's asking the index all these questions like, what is this? Who painted it? The index tells Picard that there's two paintings, and it was a gift from Data. That the one that's there is in the archives, and there's one other that's hanging on the wall. Oh, that's it. He sees the painting also on the wall in his home, in the Chateau Picard. So, and he says, what's the name of that painting? And she says, the name of the painting is Daughter. Interesting clue. So as he leaves the archives and he comes outside, suddenly in between that, we go back to Daj, and she's walking around Paris, and she makes a phone call to her mother, and her mother tells her, go to Picard. And she says, I never told you I even came to see Picard. Why are you saying that? And it's pretty obvious her mother knows what's going on and knows that Picard's the key, and it's just hinted at. So she ends up traveling and meets up with Picard as he's coming out of the archives. And she tells him, I didn't want you, she didn't want him to get hurt. But she knows, she needs his help. And so she shows up there, and as she shows up there, they have a little brief reunion. Suddenly, those more assassins appear, and they start to run away, and they run up on top of the roof area, and she's just kicking butt. She's just messing with these assassins, and one of the assassins' head, because they're covered, they're masked assassins, one of their headpieces comes off, and it's a Romulan. Wow, what a twist. This thing is so full of twists. And Picard sees that that's a Romulan. He notices it. And one of them spits, was bleeding and spits on her. And of course, because it's Romulan blood, it's like acid. And she starts, burning because he spits the blood that's acid on her. And she ends up he takes a device. One of the assassins takes the device and blows them up. So she's dead. She's gone. That quickly, it's like, what the heck? This character just got introduced and she just got killed that fast. So, I mean, the next time we see Picard, he wakes up again. He's back in his home, back in France, and his caretakers are saying, you had a big hit on the noggin, and they brought you here. And he's asking what happened with Daj, and they don't know anything because apparently somehow she wasn't recorded doing any of this stuff on all the video cameras. Apparently she has some sort of stealth technology that either she or the Romulans had it that caused them not to be recorded. So they don't know anything about it. They just know that they said that he hit his head and they found him. And what we know is that this big explosion happened. It killed the rest of the assassin Romulans and killed Daj, but the Federation doesn't know it. All that stuff's missing. So Picard then decides to travel because he needs answers. So he decides to travel to the Daystrom Institute in Okinawa, and that's where synthetics used to be made. And that's where you have Alison Pill's character come in at the Daystrom Institute. It's a Dr. Agnes Girardi, I believe is her character's name. And while she's talking with Picard and they're discussing everything, she reveals that Daj has a twin. So she reveals that when they make synthetics, they always make them in pairs of two. So and she reveals that, and after discussing it, they find that Daj and this twin may very well be Data's daughter and may have a part of Data still alive in them because for some reason they've never been able to replicate Data, and they think that this other scientist who quit, basically what happened is after the synthetics attacked Mars, they put a freeze on doing any more synthetics and they shut everything down, including this Dr. Agnes Girardi and her co-partner who was helping her with the cloning. And she reveals that, like I mentioned, she reveals that there's a clone, there's a duplicate, and her sister's name is Sochi. So, and that's Daj's twin. And basically, after that scene, we go to see Sochi, Daj's twin, and she's having a scene with another Romulan, and they're talking about stuff, and they're getting to know each other, and he's telling her how upset he is about something that's happening in his life, and she's very sympathetic to him. And then as the scene's ending, it pulls out to reveal that they're actually in a Borg cube. They are actually inside a Borg's cube. I don't know what this is all about, but it left that way. That's how the episode ended. It ended like on a cliffhanger like that. And then you get to see they have a trailer of what's coming this whole first season on Picard, and it looks stellar. This new trailer, you got to watch it. I hope they've released it on YouTube, but if you can, see the new trailer that highlights everything that's coming in the series. It does show Michelle Hurd, who's coming later. It shows Jerry Ryan, who's coming back as 7 of 9. It shows, of course, Jonathan Frakes and Counselor Troy, who's coming back as well, and some other characters. Very, very, very solid start. Way to go, way to go, way to go. I can't say it anymore. I'm excited. I can't wait to see episode 2 of Star Trek Picard. The first episode is very solid. thank you everybody for joining me on this review for allforsci-fi.com. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to me give this review. Please don't forget, if you like this video, give us a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. As I mentioned in the beginning of this review, we got a lot of exciting stuff this year. Every Saturday we're going to be live at Disneyland, or Galaxy's Edge, or California Adventure, and we're going to have the trivia game contest where you can win a gift every weekend. So make sure you watch us, make sure you subscribe right now and hit that notification bell. Thank you guys very much. I'm Eric Walker for All for Sci-Fi saying, live long and prosper.